Hey everyone, good evening. Welcome to Pretty Smart. Today we are going to be talking about what effect has the presidential election had on you? Woo, this is a very, I feel like, controversial topic.
And heavy.
Hopefully we can keep it pretty and smart. But I understand anyone's frustration on this because boy, when I tell you. So, presidential election, T Rump is what I call him. T Rump is the new president.
Donald Duck.
That works too. What's y'all's thoughts on this new president? Well, not necessarily new. We've had him before, but
Yeah. But this time around it's different to me.
you think so? Why?
It's just heavy. Like, I mean, look at it in the first night. Okay, first of all, let's discuss what we all saw on stage.
Yeah. Why was
School.
he even on stage? First of all,
Yeah.
People were saying it was like he was doing some. My bad. People were saying he was doing a Roman salute.
Roman salute, German Nazi salute, same thing. Same
Right.
difference.
Where we in the USA?
It's all fashion. Like what?
This is not that. This is not that.
Definitely not that.
Okay, and I love what people's energy are bringing. Where if it's not that, then you do it. Go in public and do it.
Right.
right.
And people were
Go to
putting
the hood and do it.
Go do it.
people were putting comparisons of like
Will not come out the hood doing that.
people were putting comparisons like, oh well, look at these other political people like presidential campaigns were doing. They took screenshots of them like
Right,
waving.
there were photos. It was a video.
Yeah, Kamala, like they were literally waving, and they took screenshots of them like with their arm up, saying they were doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Maybe roll the tapes. It's not.
And what
No,
it's
definitely
interesting.
not.
I mean, not only that, look at all and luckily they're not bills, they're just signed things, but you can see the plans already in motion. It's like two genders now. Okay, which by the way, hilariously, he said, you're now assigned to the gender you are at conception. Well, just so everybody knows, we're all females at conception.
Right.
Hello, Mrs. President. Thanks. We have our first female president, guys. So, idiot. And then all the stuff, they're just, they're coming for every community that you can think of. And people of color should definitely be, because today, all the civil rights, DEI stuff, all that stuff is just.
Yep. And they like took away the whole DEI, like
DEI, yeah.
whole organization within like the federal government, and they fired everybody like working with the DEI too. So it's like.
And they're trying to rewrite the civil rights.
Okay. About this though, this DEI, because I was kind of doing research on it, and I seen a lot of different opinions on it. I was told that it's basically based on not necessarily you're getting hired because you're black, you're white, you're not getting hired because you're female. You're getting hired because of your experience, your expertise.
Yes,
So,
but that's not exactly what DEI is. It's not. To me, it's not you're getting hired because you're black. It's holding people accountable to make sure that your staff is diverse. Because you take all that stuff away, and companies can say, "I don't want to hire black people."
Right.
Right.
I was thinking like they were getting the misconception of that. They were believing that, oh, I have to hire this person to make my company diverse. So I'm going to hire this person because they're black. Like, they're trying to take that away so that it's more so, oh, I want to hire this person because they have a lot of experience. And that's what it really should be. It shouldn't be based off your color, the race, the gender, any of that, your sexual orientation. I don't even know why that's even brought up anyway.
Sadly, that's how people think. So you go to a job and they know your name is probably, somebody would associate as a black name, you know what I mean? Or somebody who's a person of color.
This thing is just so everyone can have something else to argue about, because it used to be affirmative action, which was the big one that everybody used to argue about and fully not understand. They just think it means, oh, hire black people, which it's
So much
women. Yeah.
Yeah. 100, it's so much deeper than that. It's not about that. It's holding these places accountable, because let's be real, in the past, what did they do?
Right.
They hired what was related to them.
Jobs or Yeah.
I
And
feel like I'm a victim of the whole process of interviewing because of my name, Taishay. I feel like a lot of the times I would never get a call or anything because of that. And so I changed it to Shay. And then I was getting a lot of calls. So it was like, I kind of feel like I'm a product of this whole situation of,
You are.
they're
And
not
it's
hiring you because they know you're black. They know your name is too
I'm gonna give
difficult.
you that
They
black
don't want
name.
that. Yeah.
Hi.
Like,
yep. That's why I said quotes. That's what they think is a black. That's a black person's name. I'm just
right.
saying
Yes.
ignorance
And
of.
then
Yes.
and it's the DIE like stopped people like employers from discriminating against someone like saying, "Oh, you can't work here because you're black." But I think I've heard a lot of people say that like they thought the DIE was. I've seen like the perspective is where like they're keeping themselves oppressed. I don't know. I've heard a lot about like black people keep themselves like the minority keep themselves oppressed. And when I was younger, like I grew up in like I mean, there's a diverse amount of people, but it's like majority white growing up, and so I always kind of heard that like in the back, like, and not that I believed it, but I was young and I didn't really like form my own opinion until I got older, and like now that like this is my first time being able to vote and like growing older and like being on my own and like really not even like what my parents believe, but just watching it for myself, it's like it's minor. It's like minor like racial aggression like and it's like not inherently I don't think a lot of things that like Trump says is inherently racist some of them it is some of the things
It really is. I'm
but
you're,
there's
sorry.
also
I
like
get where you're coming from,
there's
Natalie.
also like minor things that you wouldn't pick up on until you start really listening and seeing like his actions and it's like this starts lining up and then you like your eyes kind of open more and it's like oh like this is what
Mhm.
my grandma was talking about and I always heard oh black people keep themselves oppressed but my and I always thought when I was younger I was like my grandma keeps talking about all this stuff like we're not in the 1960s anymore but the older I've gotten the more I see where she's coming from
Right.
so
I get where you're coming from, and I say that because starting with the whole the communities. Now, like we back then, we didn't really have it so much as we do now, like pushed in our face. And some of us, I don't want to say it's that they're, you know, talking going back to Trump and some of the things he says. It doesn't come off racially. It's more so just ignorant. And I'm too am guilty of like when it comes to the LGBTQ community. There's a lot of things that I don't know, and then sometimes I might say something that really comes off ignorant, and people think that I'm homophobic, but no, it's like I just don't understand it. I don't, but I
Right.
want to learn, and that's the thing that we got to figure out with Trump and all his supporters is it something that they want to learn about our culture versus just assuming stuff and being biased about it.
Well, they
No,
want to be in
If
this
they're
culture.
trying to do that, then okay, but it does come off racist because you're really trying to learn.
right
Uh,
and that's the thing like with trying to learn and understand you have to be like open-minded again like and sometimes like when you are so stuck in like this one narrative it's kind of hard to like see that but like you have to be open-minded about everything to expand your knowledge on certain
And is
topics
that true about the Jerome Seinfeld? I never knew it was Jerome. I just always seen Jerry. I don't know if we could pull that up, but there was
yes,
a comment
what about him?
his name is Jerome. So is Jerry Seinfeld. A lot of the Jeromes that are
Jerome.
Caucasians,
Jerome's in the house.
they're actually
That must be
um,
a black name.
Jerry's. And Taishay, what you said earlier is very true. When I was growing up, my name is John. So when I put it on the application, it was no problem. And sometimes when I showed up, and I'm older than
then it's
some
like,
most of you on here, so that was like even though it was the '90s, when I showed up to the office, they're like John Stevens, like,
Hmm.
and they're looking at me as
Not
like,
what we expected.
right.
you look taller than I thought you would be.
No, you look a little bit tad bit tanned than I thought.
But you knew what they were saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I
That's
mean,
what we're saying.
even that, like, going back to the DEI, not
Yeah.
only does it just affect people of color, it affects women, it affects LGBTQ people and their different things, different, even, I guess, religious beliefs. People are allowed to practice their own and believe their own thing. All
What
that
it
is
is.
covered under so much more than that.
This
So,
is my
like,
first time of hearing of it. Like never heard of it until now.
of what? Who
Who
said?
was talking?
I think
Hello.
September, but her video cut
I'm like
out.
It
frozen.
was
What was
September.
Oh,
Is she? I think she's talking about the DEI because I feel like like John said, it was affirmative action. I mean, yeah, affirmative. Yeah, and
Well,
so
it's a thing to where it's been around. You wouldn't know about it unless you work for a corporation or a company that needed to enforce those type of policies.
That's
And the only
crazy.
reason why we know about it now is because, just like with knitting, somebody took it and made it a talking point.
Hmm.
yep,
That is
true.
really crazy.
That's
I mean,
true.
it's true.
Well,
And I do want to ask about this too. Like, is all of the stuff that's coming out? I know we rely so much on social media to give us our news, but they play devil's advocate. They don't give us the full details, and some of the stuff is not fact checked.
no,
And
you
that's
have to
I
be
feel like that's why
careful.
they're getting away with all of that because I mean, it's just to kind of keep us oppressed or suppressed, whatever Natalie was saying.
Not
Yeah,
in the
and
because
know.
I do
because
think it's
we have this mindset of like, oh my god, this is totally wrong, this is and that's why I try to like give Trump the benefit of the doubt, even though it's really really hard, especially because of who I am. But some of the stuff that he does and says, they make it 10 times worse than what it really is in the
Yeah.
media. So I'm like, do you guys do your research whenever you see something on social media to try to fact
Yes,
check it?
every single time,
yeah, and I think it's hard
especially
to like.
now.
I think it's hard to find like news outlets that's not like exaggerating things on either side, like left or right. I think it's hard to like find somewhere that's like in the middle that's just strictly facts and not like exaggerating a lot of things. Because like if you turn on Fox
Right.
News, obviously that's going to be like extra, like pretty much to the far right, and then so it's like it's kind of hard to like find
You.
somewhere in the middle to meet in the middle.
We
I
know how
just,
How do you
to
feel
I
about it? Are you
me,
team Trump, Ellie?
Yeah,
You've been
me,
so quiet. I gotta pick on
I
you.
know
I
she's super
am
quiet.
definitely not Team Trump.
no.
I feel
Good job, Ellie.
like I'm at an age where I'm just now like old enough to vote for myself, and I feel not only do I know that God always has me, so I feel like I know I'm always gonna be okay, but I know that I have to like strictly pick a side. I feel like I'm not on either side.
Right. I agree with that.
God was like, "Don't put me in this."
Yeah,
And
no,
the thing,
no,
like
you gotta know.
I
Well,
am
you
a
know how to
Christian.
fix your problem. The problem you were talking about, Natalie. Two things: one, read from journalists, and number two, sometimes it ain't even the media. I'm just listening to the words that are coming out of people's mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing with like religion and politics, like personally, I'm a Christian and like that's that. But I do think there definitely should be separation of church and state. Like you can be religious and still
100%.
think that there should be separate. Like
Mhm.
because then that's like saying like if you're mixing the two, which is kind of sometimes where it seems like this is all going. Like
Yeah.
that's like someone telling a Christian to be Muslim. Like they're not going to want to do that, obviously, and then
Right.
it pushes people away from religion even more when that
Yeah.
happens, and that's not what
Become
you
more
want to do
problems.
in the first place.
You know, I don't know. I can't. The way you say it's he's dangerous to me. Like to me, it's like even looking at like House Bill Resolution 7, that new bill that he wants to introduce on women's health care should very much be concerning to all women. It even states in there that our healthcare should meet the needs of men. It is in the bill. I read the bill.
That's crazy.
This is where it's not about like picking a side. I'm not pro Democrat. I'm not a Democrat here. I am an independent. And
Mhm.
I think all government branches are filthy because why haven't they any of them controlled the capitalists of this world? Why have they not been whatever's happening? I know it takes more than just that, but all of them to some point play the game. But
Yeah.
I
Right.
just felt like there was a lesser evil here, one that doesn't come for basically we want to go back to Jim Crow times,
Yeah.
pro laws, and like
Exactly.
somebody who is writing in that men's healthcare needs to be involved in any type of women's healthcare. The fact that you've overturned Roe v. Wade and women are now in danger just by being pregnant because after a certain amount of time, if anything goes wrong, nothing you can do about it. And there are women dying from it. Not
Right.
to mention you're a convicted felon. well, not convicted, but you are a felon. You have been 34 counts against you. At some point, when do we wake up and say, that's just crazy? This should not be the person leading the world.
The
Right.
craziest part is the supporters, how hard they go
They're
for him,
right.
and
They're
they try to make him
like,
out to be an angel and her out to be a devil. But it's like, come on now.
Who's the real
There's
devil and who's the real?
right. There's really a lesser evil, and they
Yeah.
really
right. And you know what? I think I have a lot of, I'm not gonna lie, a lot of my friends, not a lot of them, but a lot of them voted for him. Not all of them are super diehard Trumpies, I would say, but like they still voted for him. And I had this one friend, it was around election, like the election, and I posted something and she was like, her argument was that he was the lesser of evil out of the two. And she was like, her argument was like, well, Kamala goes and parties with Diddy, and there's literally pictures of Trump with Diddy, like too.
Trump
And
is
I'm like,
my
and
friend.
but it's like
guilty with the Diddy's, the Epstein's, all of them. So
that's what
what?
I'm saying. And I sent
Yeah,
her
that's all
pictures
crazy.
of,
Not
and
called Geppetto Black.
right,
It's
Right.
and I sent her pictures of him with Diddy, and then her next argument, it was like an ongoing of like, she was like,
That's
oh,
called ignorance, and
well,
I don't educate myself. I
right,
wish
like it's like,
people would educate
before I
themselves
say
before speaking. So many times they get on, like Trump literally said in this thing, "I'm going to raise tariffs," and blah blah blah, and everybody went woohoo. And then the educated over here is like, "Do you guys know who pays tariffs?
right.
Are you fucking stupid?" Like it's
Okay.
literally like it seems to be another side that voted there that is very more uneducated than.
Right.
I'm not saying Democrats are smart. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying people who voted against Trump tend to be more educated than the ones who voted for him. And there's
and
a
I,
reason because like what your friend said, no offense, uneducated. Like you're
Very.
not using
and that's what I'm saying. But she's in school like to be a nurse, like, and I'm like,
Mhm.
and I think honest, I'm not gonna let. She's my best friend from home, and like I grew up with her and stuff, and
Uneducated
I
doesn't
know,
mean dumb. It just means you're not
right,
educating yourself
right,
on something.
and I know like
Dumb
what
and
I
dumb in
know,
the sense of the
right,
word.
and her
doesn't.
family, like I grew up around her family, and I know that they have always been very conservative, and so that's kind of something like trickles down, and like you know, people. People are allowed to form their own opinion on themselves, and like, but obviously I think at least at our age, like your parents definitely still have like somewhat of an influence for most people.
They
um
do. Especially this
so,
young.
right, and like I'm 20, they're 21, like you know what I'm saying, so they still have an influence, and I think they growing up around that and hearing that and being fed that your whole life,
Yeah.
like you don't
Yeah. That's what they used to.
definitely, I don't want to say you don't know any better, but like
I don't know. I feel like my millennial group, we just like to create problems. So we went against everything our parents said. If our parents like
Really.
went and found out about the other, I don't know. But I never, even growing up politically, and I always thought for myself, not my
Right.
parents. So
That's
I
bad.
guess I can't, maybe, I know a lot of kids do, but I never was that way. I was like, I don't know. I'm going to go figure that out myself.
right, and
Right.
my parents don't like Trump either, but in this year when I was able to vote, I did try to hear my Trumpy I did hear them out, like I did
The Trumpy
listen
friends.
a lot. Yes, I did listen because I'm sitting there and because they know I don't like
Mhm.
him. Like they were sitting there talking a whole conversation like, oh, you want to go to his rallies? I was sitting on the couch. I was like, you don't know, I'm not going. Like, and
Speaking of rallies.
like I'm not going to that. But like I did listen to them, and like they had JD Vance playing on the TV, and I was listening to it. Like I wasn't like turn the shit off. Like it wasn't like that. I'm trying to like listen, and there's just things that I draw the line at that it's like I can't. I don't
Right.
agree with that. I don't support that, and it's
One
Stupid.
piece that I do
like
want
this
to
just is
say,
what it is. Like
I do feel like um, how they say that a lot of black, especially black women, voted for her only because she was black, only because she
Yeah.
is black.
Because that's undermining black people. Like we can't make educated decisions.
Right.
It's true.
But one thing I did realize just going through this whole process, there were a lot of people that really don't like Trump. But with America, I've learned that this country is more sexist than they are racist.
They are.
So there was no way she was gonna win regardless.
right, and my dad was like, "They're not ready. America's not ready for a woman president. It doesn't matter."
No.
That's
That's
how they really feel, and it's crazy.
That's crazy because men have been running it since forever, and look where we are.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Maybe
like
at
at
this
this point,
point.
give us a chance. At this point,
Oh, that's
Oh,
like,
kind of
you
like
have you
what do you have to lose?
there's other countries that are ran by women and they're running
Doing
amazing.
great, Mexico. I
And
mean,
you know,
well,
do
that's
y'all know
probably a bad example, but it's
Even
ran by a
better.
woman.
y'all know who Cadence Owens is? Have you ever heard of her?
I
Candace
haven't.
Owens.
Everybody
It's,
knows who that is. Yes,
yeah.
don't we?
Don't
Candace
nobody. We don't
Yeah.
want to know who that is.
what was
I
her name
sometimes
again?
talking about a woman president. You know what? She's conservative and like she's on Trump's side with most things. And sometimes I wonder if she were to be the one running for president, how would that? Because I don't think it would change. But the people like the Trumpies, like they like her, and so I'm really like wondering, well, if she ran, would that change at all?
I
Like,
would have voted
but
for
at the
Trump.
same time, it's like they say, like you know what? I feel like they would say they would vote for her, but like.
I
mm,
wought voted for her. I'm sorry.
I don't even know who she is, so she wouldn't
I
give.
don't
Me
either.
either. I
She's
don't know.
she's a black Trump. Like I
Oh,
Oh,
don't
I,
even know
Candace
how to
Owens?
explain it.
Never. I would never. Sorry. That
I
would
have
be
to Google her.
Yeah,
She
I've never
also
she's
heard
doesn't
of.
believe
suspicious.
in. She also is the type that speaks to black people like you're not where you're at because you chose to be, and there's no such thing as like she acts like
is
race.
she a content creator? Like, does
Oh,
she do like a lot of content? What was her name again? What you say her name was?
Candace Owens.
Yeah.
Candace Owens. Do you guys remember the one guy that used to like back, like he passed away?
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking
Okay,
about.
Wait,
Yeah,
so
he's
is
the one that
is
got
that
in
the
trouble. Like
lady?
all the men are against women because of him.
Wait, I
Yeah,
couldn't hear you, September. I'm sorry because it was breaky.
It
I'm
was
yeah.
trying,
a what's his name? He
trying to
was a
figure out.
podcast. She's talking about a podcast guy, the one that passed away, that was giving all the gems to the guys about how to be against women, basically.
Yeah,
Oh,
Really?
I've never heard of him. I don't remember his
Oh,
name, but
maybe if I heard his name, I don't know.
the
yeah,
only reason I'm speaking of him because I'm trying to figure out who Candace lady is. Like, does she do like podcasts and stuff like that? Well,
she does kind of like that. She does interviews and stuff. She's
interviews. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Just look her up and just watch a couple of her interviews, and you'll be like, all right, no, I
I,
can't.
I, I already think I know who you guys talk about.
Yeah,
I'm
Candace
not
Owens.
gonna Google
She
her.
was just in the news because there was a boy that shot up a school.
Oh yeah, yeah. In
And a
Nashville.
black guy. He said he's ashamed of being black and he's inspired by her.
Yeah,
What?
And he killed a kid. He killed somebody.
yeah. He did. It was like it was a girl in high school, and then he killed himself after. And he was 17.
Yeah.
I think that's what it said. And he
God,
left a whole
dang.
note. Like it
He
was.
wrote a letter.
Is
Yep.
it Cadence or Candace Owens? I don't know.
Candace.
What is it?
Yeah,
Candace?
With the
I don't
cat.
remember if it's Candace or Cadence. I may have been saying her name wrong. But
It's
anyway,
it's pronounced Jackass Owens.
That's correct.
Jackass
um,
Owens. I like it.
it
Let
was
me Google Jackass Owens.
her. That whole thing was inspired by Trump and uh,
Oh,
Cadence
it came
Owens.
right
Candace
up. Oh my
Owens.
goodness, I found.
Sorry, guys. I had to get up because I realized I cooked pizza and I never shut off the oven.
Okay.
And obviously, you can't. Obviously,
Owens.
fault, but I mean, you can't blame Cadence
It's
Owens for that.
Candace.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you
And,
can't, but
but it
I
just
can see
goes
why.
to
I mean, somebody like her is just she's a sorry excuse for a
She's
black woman,
AOP.
honestly.
Uh-huh. Exactly.
I do know who
at
she
Okay.
least
is. I
Okay.
have seen some videos of her that are very.
Yeah, I
They're
I'm looking at her
disturbing.
right now,
I
and yeah,
just
this is the same girl that I was thinking of. Like, yeah, like her, she is
Girl.
fine. Like,
Your
real
audio.
take
I
on
can't. You're breaking up.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're breaking up bad.
I I go out.
I'm over here reading her lips like, okay, yeah. I know
Right.
what you're talking about,
I
girl.
tried.
Yeah, she is a hot mess though. She is a hot mess.
Candace or September?
No,
Oh,
Candace is a hot mess, but I was reading September's lips.
Yeah, that was a Nashville
But are you a
school
lip reader?
shooting.
I try, yeah. I'm nosy. I'm so nosy. So like I always do that. Like if I see a conversation miles away, I'm like looking to see like what are they talking about.
I
That's
love it.
terrible, I know, but
You need to get on TikTok and help us translate things we want to know about.
What happened in Nashville?
I really
That was
should.
the shooting, the high
yeah,
school shooting.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the boy that said
And
that he
that's
was
one of the things. It's like,
fired by
why
her.
are we worried about naming the Gulf of Mexico, Gulf of America, when like this, things like this?
Oh, we're
Just
trying to write Greenland and Canada, which
He has to beat his chest, and everyone has to see it. That's what it
and it's like
is.
people are falling for it. They're like, oh yeah, that's great. Anything he says is like, oh, that's great. And I'm
Mhm.
like this is
Did
literally
you
like you're
see
talking about
that one of the January 6th, the one that refused to be pardoned? She said that she feels like it's a cult, like it is all a
yeah,
It
I
is.
cult.
actually just read something about a woman that was part of that like refused to be pardoned and she didn't support him anymore. And that kind of surprised like I don't know, I would think that if obviously you did something bad and like now he's pardoning you. I feel like most well, I guess it's selfish to obviously they know right from wrong.
Yeah,
It is
I
selfish.
would take that
But
pardon.
like most people in that scenario would take it and but
Then cut him off. Yeah, I would
right.
do it.
But that's
Right. Yeah.
a good
Yep,
thing that she, spoke up about it.
she did,
So,
and she said it was like it was a cult, and she what was her name? It was um Pamela Hemphill.
hmm.
Yeah, she did, and she wouldn't take the pardon. I don't know. Also the fact that he did just pardon all of them is crazy, and a lot
And my
They
thing,
arrested
of people are saying,
again.
like a
So
lot of other Republicans in office are saying that wasn't a smart choice. Like,
and the thing with that is, the whole back in 2020 with the whole George Floyd situation, and it was BLM, but then it was back against like back the blue. A lot of Trump supporters, like Trump's himself, was talking about making police immune to our police immunity, and he backs the blue. A lot of his supporters back the blue, but it's back the blue until something like this happens, and it's like, oh, it's okay because there's a video of one of the police officers literally getting hit with a baton by a
yep,
Trump supporter in the Capitol. Like, and he was like beaten badly and had to go like the hospital. And now they're all pardoned, but weren't they assaulting the police officer? It's back to blue until it doesn't apply to the situations that they want it to apply to.
right.
Exactly. It's the privilege for you.
it's
Yep. Picking
crazy
and
because in
choosing.
other countries they literally had to blur out part of the inauguration because of that. It's like other countries are censoring us and the
Hmm.
stuff we got going on.
Right, and that's
That's
what I'm saying. Like the
Because
back
it's
to blue,
crazy.
I think the situation with the back to blue that I was just talking about, I think it's stuff like that it's not people that say that use it in certain situations. It's not inherently racist, but it's like micro, like that you see in certain situations. It's like you want to say that, but then when it's against what you're for,
Why was that created in the first place?
Why was it?
so the
Why was
police
he
officers
not
To
Why
can
go
get
was
engaged?
that?
against the movement we had, just like nobody's walking around saying all lives matter, but the minute Black lives matter, then all lives had to matter. Of course they
Yeah.
do.
Every life.
People,
Every life.
but it
Mhm.
seems to be your lives matter every day. So it's just like when it's breast
There
cancer.
we go.
When I say it's breast cancer awareness month, we're not like all cancers are aware.
That's not funny, but it is.
It,
Like,
it
It
is.
is. It's kind of, yeah, it's not, but it is. Yeah.
And I think that's another thing with like the oppression argument. Like I think a lot of people who weren't necessarily like weren't against BLM, but like weren't for it, were like using the oppression. Like I was talking about, it's like you're oppressing yourself, like But it's then as I've gotten older and I like look at all these things, I'm like,
Yeah. How can we oppress ourselves when we're still being oppressed? Like,
Okay.
here's my thing is like, yes, people do oppress
Crazy.
themselves, but also like you would just call that people who don't have the motivation to work or anything. You can't say like to me, it's like you can't say that about a whole group of people. Not
right.
all Black people are out here oppressing themselves. So like to me, it's
Right.
like also let's think about it. Slavery happened, and then when it was deemed illegal, it still happened for many more years. Then we had the segregation stuff. Then they came around when Black people were doing, not to mention our Black Wall Street got burned down twice. Um, so, anytime we tried to get ahead, it was, they
Not
were pushing
down.
down. Oh, then they start doing okay. Here comes the crack epidemic. Now they're going to actually pay people to rap about these things. They're going to pay for people to try this stuff. It was all set up to keep that. And then you have now they're not being hired by jobs or can't get the same jobs as people. So now they got to sell drugs. just like Jordan Lucas, now I gotta sell drugs, put food in my cabinets. You crackers ain't slick. This is all part of your tactics.
Yeah, gotta love
For
you some
real.
Jordan
It's
Lucas.
been years of this where they're using that to keep groups of people down. And yes, they use the media against us now to do that. For example, they decided to make Easter Transgender Day too. Do you think the trans community actually freaking wanted
What?
that? No. But what do? They
I
make it
ain't
that
seen
day to
that.
piss everybody off so they will attack one group of people. It's the same kind of
Mm-hmm.
monopoly, but they've done
I
that
haven't
with
heard
people
that one.
since the beginning of time.
Ooh,
I
Sydney.
don't think it's black people want to or oppress themselves. That's not really possible when they've been oppressed for thousands of years at this point.
Decades,
Like
right?
From the beginning of time.
some
Exactly.
get fallen behind, but just look anything. Most of the people in the statistics who are the issue are actually the poorest white places. The
Mhm.
Trumpsters who live
Yep.
where they're the
They're
poorest people. And
Trumpies.
so
Listen
it's
to you,
funny how
preach, girl.
we don't, it's not white people just want to oppress themselves. It's different. It's like you can't use that because also it's always been white privilege, but it's not the same thing because there's never been black privilege ever. It's never been a place where we can just have the privilege to oppress ourselves if we want to or
Right.
not oppress ourselves. You're oppressed every day. Every day you go out there, there's something in the system that is set up against you. And
Right.
that's what racism is. It's a system set up against. That's why people say black people can't be racist. They can be prejudiced towards white people, but they can't be racist because racism is more of a system set up against a group of people.
Mm-hmm.
So
Hmm.
You just said
black
something
people
about
can't oppress ourselves. We've been oppressed for too long.
you said
Right.
something about privilege. I saw this quote earlier, and it just made me think of it. It says, "If you think you love freedom, if you think you love freedom, but you don't care if it applies to everyone, what you actually love is privilege."
Yes.
Yep.
And I
Yeah,
saw
Yes.
that, and I was
That's
like,
true.
mhm.
That's
Mhm.
so
that's
true.
true.
And I've from this election, like talking to like my other like little Trumpy friends, like what I've kind of realized is like,
Girl, you and your Trumpy
I know. I'm
friends.
like in my mind,
I don't know,
Trumpy.
I don't know
How
how
you do it.
Yeah.
they're not all like I'm not saying they're all like diehard Trump. A lot of them are like quiet about it, but like
Yes,
who they
Trumpies.
support, right? But
Hmm.
I
Interesting.
a lot of them I was like talking about like the racism and like the microaggression with the racism, and what I kind of realized is like, oh, well, we want the economy. They don't care. Like it kind of was like right in my face, and it kind of made me realize like, oh,
So
like
does
they
our
really
immigrants.
care. Like they don't care.
Damn.
And I was like, okay, like, and they don't care until something happens to them. And like I've always been told that, but like I'm like, oh well, these are like my friends, and like not that they don't care about me, but it's like they don't care about my people. They just care about me myself because I'm their friend. They don't actually like they
You're
don't
the
care about.
exception.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's yep.
Well, Natalie.
I'm living for the FAFO movement. So when they all fuck around and find out, I'm gonna be sitting here with my Skittles.
Oh,
And
they
I'm
they
like, how
already
do you feel and
starting.
chat for you?
They are already starting. I seen this
Mhm.
post that went viral of this guy. His wife was getting hired for a government job, a real nice one, and they
A
were
nursing one.
moving.
Yep.
Yeah, they were moving, and got a new house and all that. They were so for Trump and all of his policies, but
Mhm.
now it's affecting them. And she didn't get hired, and they already got this house. So
Mhm.
he made this
Hmm.
long post
I
to
watched
Trump
it
and
all.
wanted everyone to
That was
share
on
it so that
Twitter.
it gets to
I saw
Trump.
that. I heard about that too. was the
I
post
said
Also
the
another one.
nerve.
was the
Where
post on
after,
Twitter?
You said
yeah,
what?
Was the post on Twitter that the guy
yes.
made? Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It
Yep.
was on Twitter. There's also more. There's a couple people who were complaining about their farms because they had all the migrant workers on there. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
they had to go. And now they're like, we have about 2 days and we're going to lose our farm. And I said,
Mm.
oh,
Yeah.
calm
Yeah.
down.
And the thing with the farms is like also with the I want groceries to be cheap. Who do you think picks all those vegetables, fruit? Who do you think picks them? They're all gone. Who's
Mhm.
gonna work?
Also,
I know, like the white people, and even us
They
black.
ain't gonna force us to work.
No, nobody's
No,
gonna do
ma'am.
it.
if the
They're gonna
president
work.
had that power in the first place to just bring down grocery prices, don't you think Biden would have did it?
Right.
Right.
And
Let's
it's like
just be real.
and he said he was gonna
Somebody
do
Had
it.
really
that
need to do that,
power.
though, for real.
He
And
said
now
he's
he's realizing it because he's backing up and saying, "Oh well, it's very hard to bring prices down once they're way up, and these prices are way up." With his stupid Donald Trump language, yeah. What did you guys think would happen? Everybody's sitting back like he doesn't even have the power to do that. He can't just be like, "I demand your grocery stores to go lower." You're not God.
Right.
And then
Like,
sometimes
Not
I
gonna
feel like
work
somehow if
anyway.
anything goes wrong, like under his presidency, especially at the beginning, it's gonna be, oh well, this is Biden's fault. Like he and
Yep. That's
He just
exactly
showed
what
us
he
how
It's
did.
just
people are
never,
manipulated and
for instance,
brainwashed.
the MAGA, like it can never be Trump's fault. God forbid it's his
Mhm.
fault. Like it's nothing is his fault, and that's what's scary. It's like he can do whatever, and like these people are just gonna like it can be so wrong and like blatantly in your face, and these
Mhm.
people are like so brainwashed and intrigued with him that they're just gonna follow whatever he does, and that's scary.
Right.
They're
And
excusing
because
his
of a
salute.
lot.
They're
Yeah.
excusing the Nazi salute that was done on stage. Let's call it for what it is.
Right. And
Right.
it's like you don't see I've never like met anyone, and this is not like Dem versus Republicans, like it's about like Trump himself. Like I just like in Mitt Romney, I remember I was growing up, I never heard anything outrageous about Mitt Romney and he was a Republican. You know what I'm saying? It's just like
Mhm.
Trump and like his I don't know, his little glorified kingdom over there. But it's like I never saw on the other hand, I never really saw anyone like die hard for Kamala. Like I never saw anyone like
Yeah,
riding
I feel like her supporters,
see
they
that.
recognized her flaws. They recognized that there was stuff in there that
Should
was
have
No,
like,
and
said
you don't see that. Like anybody else,
Trump has no flaws. And that's just crazy to me that they really
and
feel
even
about
and
1.1
Right.
million of them.
and even in like previous elections, I have, and I, of course I was like a lot younger, like, and I couldn't even vote, but like I'm sure even like a younger kids, like teenagers, noticed how much of a following he has. When I was that age, I never saw anybody else like running for president have. You didn't see Obama have crazy like a little crazy cult following him like that excuses everything. You never saw that with anybody else.
You know, somebody around the corner from us wrote "fuck Kamala" in huge letters across their house, spray painted it
Oh my
across.
God.
That's
like,
like that's
why
insane.
is
Like
there so much hatred
no,
like that? Like,
That's crazy.
You would destroy your expensive property
for
to
That's how
him.
you know everything's just fixed.
Kamala.
Like,
Like,
And
oh,
it's
your
like
audio's back. Your audio's
yes, can you
back.
hear
We'll
me,
be
you
back
guys?
in
I'm back.
September.
Yes, yes, yes.
And
I
it's
can hear you.
especially the people like the minority that voted for him. I'm like, he's not gonna pick you. Like he doesn't like you. I don't know what like. Do you hear he's talking about y'all eating cats and dogs? He does not like you. He's talking about Puerto Rico. He doesn't like you. Like I don't know. You voting for
I
him is
didn't
not.
even get how is what 90% of black women voted for Kamala. So it was about half for the Hispanic. I mean, and less
The
for
Hispanic.
yeah.
Yeah.
The
Like
age group of black men above 40 who voted for Trump over Kamala is the same almost the same exact number of age group of black men that voted for Trump over Hillary.
Hmm.
yes, I was
Because
talking
they're
about
more sexist than they are racist.
black women. We came, we served, as we always
we
do.
always do, right? Like we always do.
But this is why the FAFO movement is so great because it's at this point you're on your own. We're done. We're
Right.
done.
And it's like you sit
You
back
lose
and
your
just
farm
watch.
and you lose your kid's school and the Department of Education goes away and you can't
And
have the special class
that's the
for
thing.
your special perfect kid and everything goes to shit and groceries go more expensive and tariffs go up and everything gets more expensive and hopefully none of this happens. But
So,
when
what do
all
you guys think
The
about
thing
them?
with the Department of Education.
Oh,
University.
What do y'all
they
think
in
about
charge now.
them trying to get rid of the middle class? Because I feel like with grocery prices going up, they're going to stay up, rent's going to stay up, all of that because it's a
Yeah.
purpose, and they're trying to get rid of middle class. So there's only rich and there's poor.
Mhm.
How do y'all feel
My
about?
thing is the police
control is easier done with
community. I
poor.
don't like that. I have sons.
Yeah, I feel that September.
I
Yeah,
feel
Like
like they're
that's
feeling
the
a
only
class
thing
war
about
coming
it.
on. I feel like they feel like there's something going on because Luigi started that. And
Mhm.
I feel like it's happening more. I don't know. I'm on TikTok a lot, and I'm not saying TikTok's accurate, but a lot of people in the comments, if you read down, a lot of people are calling for that. And I'm just saying, like, they don't like it. It started all the way back in the day. They don't like it when it gets like this. So the poorer we are, the
Yeah.
more control they have.
And
So
I a lot of think
exactly,
the open
exactly.
mind thing, like I think a lot of people think like the idea of stuff like that happening is like crazy. It's like, oh, like you're being crazy, that you're being overreacting. How do you think
conspiracy
everything else
theory.
how do you think everything else started? Like the Civil War, slave like all these things, like
Oh, that's another thing
in
too.
Germany, like it was slow
Yes.
things that like propaganda. It was like these all these little things that led up to
Led up
eventually
to
like over the years. It doesn't happen overnight. Like it's
You
years
guys,
and years and years. Like you learn these
Mhm.
things in like history, and it's like history
and it's
repeats itself.
repating itself.
History repeats
Because
itself.
itself.
let's
They
go
Yeah.
want
back.
they want to push for a war.
Yeah.
So,
Let's
Mhm.
go back to slavery real quick, just real quick. When people were enslaved, there was also just the rich. There was the enslaved black people, and there was the poor white people who actually were struggling and going through shit and shit and shit, right? They realized that there was enough black people to take over. You know what I mean? So what did they do? They pulled up these poor white people, gave them a horse, gave them some power, created the race war in the first place. I'm going through like cuts of it. It goes deeper than that. And started that in the first place. Like it's the same kind of thing. They're just repeating the
Mhm.
thing. They're going to create these, I mean, like in everything. They want to
Right.
create an LGBT, they want to
Yeah,
create
it's more scary to me than anything. Like it's like I pray for the United States because not only all of the things that's supposed to change, like I'm thinking of it more on an emotional sense of it. Like it's way past that. Like when you got kids, you got families that experience that type of lifestyle, and then for it to come back, that's insanely
yeah.
scary for me.
Mhm. Not to
I got
mention,
kids in school, sons that that I know we already get labeled. They already are labeled as black men,
yep,
so it's kind of scary for me. Like,
it's
Yeah, it's
terrifying.
definitely scary. Scary times for sure.
You know what's
yeah,
crazy
We're in the
too?
mindset of we not gonna put up with it. And to me, it's
yeah,
like
it's
I
a
don't want to
different
leave
type of
anybody
world now
Yeah,
than
behind.
it
it's
was.
I
different.
think
I'm
Very
not.
different.
a
Yeah.
lot of this, like they get people by fear. It's like they fear what they're not used to. The LGBTQ, that's been recent. Like that wasn't a thing back in what 1970s, 60s.
Yeah, it
That
was
wasn't really a
hidden.
thing.
No, it wasn't. It
I mean, it
wasn't.
was, but like it wasn't like
It's always been
accepted
It
or
wasn't
you
out
know,
here like it
Quiet.
is now.
right. And
Yeah.
so like, and I wasn't even alive, but you know that because if you
LGBTQ has
you
been
know.
around since the beginning of time because the Greeks.
But
Anyway,
yeah, but it wasn't like
Which is
accepted
literally
and
true.
like
Like
It
it,
wasn't as
you
seen
know,
as
like it
it is
wasn't
now.
right. Like
right.
now,
And
it's
so
like
like
just
now
out
it's like
there. Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
And so
everybody's
like,
coming
people
out.
just
everybody.
and
no, I
Yeah,
was making a
people
joke.
used to disown their kids when
Girl,
they
stop.
found out back in the day. Like it was crazy back in the day.
Hmm.
and
Like
like
Yeah,
the
it was
immigrants
like
coming
it's
in,
a sin. Like you couldn't do nothing like that. Like no,
yeah.
right,
girl,
and
they
like
out
they're
the
not
here.
immigrants
having it.
coming in, most who like most of the crimes that are committed are not by immigrants. Sure, there's like the case of I forget the girl's name. She was in college and she was murdered like running. I forget her name. Um,
I know
do
he
you? I,
something Riley.
Ooh,
yes, like they use
Something
that. That
Riley.
is
L
like
something.
that was
Her name's something.
awful. Like I agree that was awful. He should go
It's
to jail. Like
one.
it
That's
was
the
like
only
compared,
one they have.
right. That's what I'm saying. Like that,
But I
I
can give you
agree.
hundreds of when white men killed children in schools.
Right, and that's I'm saying like I agree that that man should go to jail for the rest of his life, prison the rest of his life. That's been whatever. That's awful, and I don't agree with that. But using that one case, the few cases of things like that, compared to like school shooters, who are they? They're American citizens.
White men most of
And I'm
the
just like,
time.
and I'm
mm-mm.
just, and you know, like even the one that happened yesterday, or was it the 17th? Whatever, I forget what day it was. The other day, it was it was a black teenager, and like, but he's still an
It's
American citizen. They're not immigrants. Like they're not immigrants.
no,
I'll
And
they're
tell you
American.
this. I'm 46. I've been robbed 3 times. I've been in
What?
several fights. I've had things stolen from me. I've been betrayed. I've been cheated on. I've been called the N word, and it's never been about by an immigrant for any of those.
Yeah,
Mm,
that's all I'm
you
saying
know,
is also
Doesn't
immigrants bring in like 9 billion in taxes a year, so okay. And they also are our laborers. So like good luck building your houses and getting things crops and
right.
everything that we need. They were such a big part of America and ICE coming through is heartbreaking. Like
Right,
right.
and it's like those people don't do anything. They just put blame because they fear. There's so many of them, and they fear that. Like that's just the racism, like the micro racism, and the like the LGBTQ. I've never felt threatened in my life by someone in the LGBTQ community, and I'm not saying that no one else ever has, but
of
I
course there's
personally
bad people in the LGBT
right,
community.
and
Oh,
I feel like
hey,
most women have felt more threatened by a heterosexual man in their life than they
100%.
have by a gay person.
Gay boys are
here's
never
the
going to hurt you. They're going to protect you, girl. Like
hey, leave me out of this. So here's the quote from
Ah,
Lyndon B.
oh my
Johnson.
God. No, you
It
didn't.
goes to what I can't remember. You guys were Natalie or one of you were saying it. So everybody knows Lyndon B. Johnson was president of the United States, and he's famous for quoting this: "If you can convince the lowest white man he's better than the best colored man, he won't notice you're picking his pockets.
yep.
He'll
Oh,
he'll
Thank
give
you. You're
him
talking about what I was
somebody
talking
to look
about.
down on. Not he'll give him somebody to look down on, and he'll empty his pockets for you."
You're talking about the slave thing because they were worried about the poor white people coming for them and the
I
black
understand, but
people.
I'm talking about that
Poor white
today because
people
that's
take
what Trump does. He convinces all of
yes.
these people who have been unemployed or haven't been down on their luck and
Yep.
haven't had a job or all of these other issues, and he gets them to think they're better and blame it on everyone else
Yep.
Right.
of
Mhm.
color.
And he knows what he's doing. That's why. And like the people who are rich and like vote for him, like it's
Right.
the things that he's doing are going to benefit them. But the people who are voting for him, like that don't are not billionaires, they're not rich or not millionaires, that they don't have the money. They're just he knows what they want to hear, and it works.
Yeah.
Have you guys
It's
seen
not
his
though. Not I don't want to play
Yes.
devil's advocate, but I feel like he's like that with everybody and everything. Y'all give Trump a
100%.
little bit too much credit. He is a pushover. He
Mhm.
definitely you can manipulate him easily, and I feel like it's a good thing and a bad thing because you'll have the people in his ear that are pouring out the hatred that want him to act a certain way and he'll do it. But then you have the other people that are for the good and he'll listen to them. Same like for
No,
example,
but that's not what happens.
he's the one that initiated the TikTok ban. But
But
then
that's
he
not
had
what
everybody coming after him, and
that's
he
not
really cares about what people think about him.
Oh,
that's
touche.
not what
I'm not
that's
trying to
not
play
what
devil's advocate. I'm just saying.
Mhm.
No, no, no. Well, I'm saying that's not what happened. So most people now know who Trump is because he's been running for president. This has been Trump since the beginning. There is no good people speaking in his ear to give him the good thing because he gets rid of those people. He
Not
does what he wants. But
necessarily.
yes,
Yes, he
I'm
did.
giving you the history of Trump. That's why the USFL died 30 years ago. He wouldn't listen to anybody, his ego. Why do you think
Yeah, I think
that he lost all of these lawsuits with people in New York where he had his employees put C on their paperwork in the 70s
He
so they
did. He
wouldn't
also
get
wouldn't
housing?
talk to them
Or
either.
he would have black employees move out of the casino floor when he would visit. He lost all these suits
Oh
because his
my.
lawyers told him don't go to court because what do companies do when that happens? They settle, give you the money so it can go away. But because he has an ego, he went and lost all these cases. His ego. That's why Putin can. What the one thing you said that is correct is he can be easily manipulated, but you have to stroke his ego
Okay,
to
yeah, that's
manipulate
true.
him. But once you say something that he doesn't agree with, even if it's right,
He get away.
you're kicked to the curb. There's no president ever that has replaced 93% of the people he hired in his cabinet.
Hmm.
He wants loyalists who will
Mm.
do whatever he says. Keone,
Yeah, you
nice
froze.
face.
I didn't froze. I just stopped talking. I was just
No,
oh,
yeah, your
picture
picture is
froze
frozen.
with
And
my big
a
with my
lot
big
of the
mouth
people,
open. That's so Taisha can call me a loud mouth. That's why that happened.
You know, God be looking out for me. That's all. He
God be looking out for me.
and I think
Man, look at you.
with the loyalist thing, like a lot of these people that he's picking for like certain positions, they don't have damn near like half the qualifications like someone else for that position does. He just picked them because he knows they're gonna do what Trump wants him to like.
He
But
can
he didn't even
manipulate
have the
them.
Like
qualifications to
Right.
be president in the first place.
and yeah, and there's I forget his name. I keep forgetting people's names, but it's he is trying to be appointed for some senator for the military, some position for the military,
I know what you're talking about.
department, Senate department, something like that. And I watched like him be, I don't know, his interview, like interrogated, I guess, whatever they do, like the questioning for the position, like, and he was just denied, like he wouldn't answer stuff, like it was just deflecting,
He
like
never
deflecting.
does. It's always
I'm sure,
concepts of the
and you
plan.
know what? I'm sure people do that on the Democratic side too. I'm sure that happens like on both sides. But like when you, it's the problem is like these are Trump picks and like they're his loyal, like his little loyalists, and like they don't have the answers. They don't. It's a yes or no question. They can't answer it.
Yeah. Except if you actually watch the debate, I'm not saying Kamala was perfect, but she gave some answers.
Right.
Yeah,
She
she
gave
is.
some answers about her plan to fix the economy. She gave some answers about, it was at least a start. She would give a start. Like,
Right.
and
He
then
had
she also
concepts of
told
a
Trump
plan.
that
Though. He
she's
had
been trying to
concepts.
add more border control, but Trump and his minions keep denying it.
Exactly. That's the thing that they don't talk about though.
Mhm.
Like all of the stuff that the Democrats tried to do and was blocked. Like how,
Right.
and then he wouldn't even answer that either. Like why are you blocking them from, doing
Everybody
all the stuff
blames,
that we want them to do?
yeah. It's their fault. It's expensive. Is this? But let's remember, we are still under Trump's issues from when he did run in 2016. He wrote Obama's economy for 2 years and was like, and then we're in Trump's economy now. So
And I think people forget that, like, it's like, oh, the economy was better when Trump was in it.
no, he wrote
That was
Obama's
Obama's. Like, most of that was Obama's, and I'm like, what are
economy.
you talking about? And it's like,
They
oh,
don't understand how things work. They don't do the research.
No. And that's what I'm saying. You do not educate yourself. And then people get up here and they gung ho try to argue. I heard people the other day at my job arguing about Singapore being in China. And because the whole TikTok stuff going on. And I was like,
and did you see? It's bad when Canada is threatening to cut off our power, and
New York, Wisconsin, and Michigan will lose power on February 1st if Trump raises tariffs.
I feel like Canada is so
like that's bad.
not controversial. So for them to really be tripping with us, it's like
I love it. I hope he hangs on to it.
No, I don't know. Like,
But we got to make a point.
Right.
Thoughts and prayers.
I had just seen a post. I don't know if it's like accurate or not, but they were saying the president in Mexico, she was going to start deporting Americans from Mexico, regardless if they're legal or illegal, because of what Trump is doing.
Also, my friends who live in Mexico told me that the citizens are on the outlook for people who look like Trumpsters. Like they said, don't come in here. You won't be served margaritas. You won't be served tacos. You won't be served
nothing. And the thing is, like, the immigrants,
I'm mad at it.
They have
they just gotta look like they're Trump.
And I hope people hold to that energy. You better hold to that energy.
They have such problems with immigrants, and like they say, it's like about.
So
I just think a lot of it is an excuse for racism, like, and they don't have to blatantly say it, but it's like you have no empathy. Like half of like these people are working our fields. No one else wants to do that. Like I'm not saying none of them.
Kevin's gonna go out there and do it. You, Kevin or John, are gonna get up and go.
Hold on, you guys have been dangerously close to saying what Sharon Osbourne said. So I've been over here cringing every time you bring it up.
Wait, what did Sharon Osbourne say?
The reason why she disappeared off The View when Trump was running before, because they were talking about the same thing. I knew what she was saying, but it was the way she said it. She said, well, if we deport everybody, who's going to clean our toilets? And
my God.
We've been dangerously close to saying that, so I've been over here like,
No, I mean,
I don't
at least at this time, it's something that they're willing to do and wanting to do versus slavery.
Right. No, I like building houses. That was my main thing. Most of our construction, because let's be real, our Hispanic people know how to build.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, not to work. Like they suck. They're not going to be able to build a house. Okay, like
no, they're not.
Our best people
they can get it built in like
I'm
2
giving
days.
them props. They just know more than we do. They're better.
and like, but I was saying, like, these people.
So I have a treat for you guys. Okay, I have a treat for you guys. So we've talked about how we've had a person, dividing people and sitting them together. I have a little funny video for you. That brought a lot of cultures together, okay? So it brought a lot of cultures together. I don't know if you've seen it.
You see this, we want this, we love this, we need this, but this, yeah, we don't need this.
As a member of the African American community, we would like to humbly decline your offer. Since you don't want your own race, maybe the Hispanics will take you instead. So sorry, you have been declined.
Thank you for the referral on that, but the Hispanic community, we're gonna have to pass on that. You could check the Asians though.
As a representative of the Asian community, after careful consideration, unfortunately, we cannot take her. She will also be banned from ever taking out Chinese again. Though, we will offer her up to the Indians.
After a not-so-thorough examination and as a member of the Indian community, we would also like to humbly deny this offer. Maybe the Egyptians would be interested.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but there's no way. Gotta pass this one back to the white boys.
Oh.
No.
It just kept going. It just kept going.
You know what I liked about it? The reviews, the careful reviews got shorter and shorter.
Right. That was
funny.
And then they just get back to the white guys and he's like, no.
No. Like, no. Hell no,
No.
you don't want
Like
her.
I live for the pettiness. That's
I've
great.
seen videos like
Yeah,
that
that's
before. She
funny.
really was not that bad. Like,
No, but
No.
I remember seeing that
she's
thing. That was
yeah.
funny. That was funny.
Nobody wants to hear about her fetishizing me. I don't want her crusty ass.
Oh,
You
oh,
know,
geez.
you
listen,
know, it's but the one thing these Trump people do make me mad is I get angry for the white friends I do have because they always have to defend themselves because of these
Hmm.
idiots
yeah.
out
Yep,
here.
that's true.
And so I do feel bad for them because like my friend Brad, he like Brad will say like other white people walk up to you and say racist shit and they just expect you to agree with it. So we were we were at a bar and this guy said something racist to him and he's like, you know what I mean? And Brad just turned, he's like,
No.
no, you
No,
loser.
I don't know
hell
what you
no.
mean.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, no, I don't.
The fuck?
You
No,
know what's
it's
crazy
not.
though? Like the government, they're stupid. So everybody done realized this week. This week we realized that we're a third world country with a Gucci belt. That's what the
Oh,
Chinese call us, guys. America.
Who with
that's
a Gucci belt?
sad.
That's what we are. Like it's funny, like because
It's not.
everybody. Did you guys hear about the drama with TikTok closing? So we all went to
Yeah,
Red.
the red note. Yes.
So then we got
Yeah,
on Red Note, and then everybody realized,
I
wow,
didn't go to Red Note.
they have over a billion people. 95% of people own their homes. They don't have property tax after you buy your house. Um, Almost zero. They have 0.18% homeless population out of billions of people, and people their cars are like our most luxury car is their like
Yeah,
lease
and they're
car. It's
cheaper.
$10,000.
Yeah, and they're banned here.
And they're banned here. And so everybody's realizing that like we're a fucking third world country with a Gucci belt. And it was really funny because it all backfired
that
on
is
them. They
cool.
were like,
TikTok was banned on phones, but I just watched it on my internet browser because if you just went on the computer, it was there. So that was yeah. So that was a
I
funny
just
thing.
love it because they started more adding to the fuel to the fire to how angry people already are. Now
Right.
people are like, oh, here we were taught this communist, socialist, horrible country that everybody was taught is communist bad. Like, you know what I mean? All the people there are pretty dang happy. And they've managed to, you know what I mean, do whatever. I know they have their issues too, but genuinely people can afford things and go out and they're not even
It's
working.
crazy. You can go to a lot of countries and it's like that though. Like
Nicer.
here we're so brainwashed to believe that like people live so badly everywhere else.
Yep.
You go there and they are living the best life
Yep.
They
ever.
were
I went to
Meanwhile,
yeah.
people are in huts in Africa starving, eating
I
mud.
heard that the
Oh
Bahamas
yeah,
was
that's definitely lies. You could
Mhm.
definitely yeah. The
Africa's
Africans, yeah. They'll
whew,
tell you
I
this.
heard that the Bahamas was poor. Like you can go there and enjoy yourself, but their living is like real scum. Like it's
Well,
like
everywhere
really
you go, there's gonna
there's
be,
always gonna be
there's gonna be,
somewhere. Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
yeah, like but
But
you wouldn't think
majority,
that like the Bahamas, like you wouldn't
mhm,
think that it's like that there. But
yep,
my daughter, she's traveled there a lot of times. I haven't been, but she's traveled a lot of times. She was like, "Ma, it's definitely not like it's beautiful there, but they're kind of like poor a little bit, like in
Hmm.
certain parts of the
Yeah.
Bahamas." Yes,
I mean,
yep.
it's not somewhere where I would want to live. I mean, a bougie
yeah,
American. Yeah, I wouldn't do that, but it's
Right.
not terrible. It's
yeah.
still,
I wouldn't
but yeah,
know.
there's
It's
some
not
certain
like
countries
it's not
are
like
still
better than like it is not a place that you would want to move. It's a place where you would want to tour, but
yeah,
not.
Right.
definitely.
And I think it's so like important, not important. Well, I mean, yeah, if you can afford it, like travel. And I'm so like lucky and grateful that my parents and my grandparents like sent me to Europe. I went to Europe twice when I was like 13, 14. But and I was young, but I still remember. But it was like it's just eye opening seeing how like different cultures and how like
Yep.
society is in different places. Like I think that's so important, and I'm like grateful and lucky because I know a lot of people are not able to do that. And like, but I
Natalie,
think if you can, like, it is so it's like a
yeah,
great thing to like travel and see different countries because we're just so used to
yep.
America this, America that. But like,
Yeah.
We don't know outside.
yeah,
But when I went to the UK, I can attest, I would walk down the street at like 3 a.m. I never felt unsafe there. I went all over.
Okay.
And I never felt unsafe once when I was there. I'm not
I
saying they
will,
don't have bad people there, but it's
I
just
was
like,
right.
gonna say there's some areas there where if they,
Now I will say in Europe there's a lot
I went
of
to
pickpocketers,
Liverpool.
but like, yeah, but
We went to the whole
Sorry,
Manchester. I was in London. We went to, I saw the Eiffel Tower.
Dang, Sydney, let her be blessed.
I'm just saying to her that
She just hacked up a lung and Soprano was trying to bless her.
she was talking about being blessed and traveling, and I was just relating to her
Taishay,
saying,
she has no idea what I'm
not
talking about.
Natalie. Sydney, not
because when
Natalie.
I went there, no,
Taishay,
let
you
me
know what she's
finish.
doing, Sydney? She's arguing like we argue on our show, and she doesn't realize this isn't our show, Sydney.
No,
This is pretty
you're
smart.
the only one starting stuff. Shut up. This
No,
is a girl's show.
you don't even know what I was talking about.
Okay.
Natalie, I was relating to you because I said when I was there, I felt so safe all the time, a lot safer than I do in America. And that was something that I learned while being there was like, oh, America isn't all that fucking safe. So I was just relating to you because
Sydney,
you were
I have a
saying
question.
lucky enough to travel and experience other things.
Sydney, I have a
Not about to
question.
let this go.
Sydney, I have a question.
Sydney?
When I said, Sydney, I just have a question. When I said let her be blessed, what did you think I was talking about?
Because she was talking about being blessed to get to travel.
No, because she sneezed.
Oh, I didn't even get to sneeze.
And then I get attacked. I get verbally attacked.
He deserves it though. I don't feel bad because you know what? It's payback for what you do to me almost every
Oh my God.
Natalie, what's your mom?
White.
What the
What's your dad?
White.
Wait, what's your dad?
Black.
Oh, so you're Puerto Rican.
Yes.
Annoying.
He always says.
Now we're
That
back
was
to
a little
Sydney.
ending.
Sydney's mad. We're back to Sydney's mad.
I'm not mad. Why do I gotta be mad?
Huh? What'd you say?
I said, why do I gotta be mad?
Something
Why
is
do you?
tickling my nose, and I
Why
don't
do
know
you
what
gotta
it
be
is.
mad? Something is. All right, we gotta go. Taishay's got that.
I'm sorry, like I don't want to sneeze and keep sneezing, but
I'm not
goodness,
mad.
Okay, you're not Whitney Houston it over there, are you?
no, not
What
at
you say
all.
you're not black?
Oh my god, he just accused you of cocaine.
Yeah,
Wait,
because
who's
my
that?
nose. I'm over here.
No, the funniest thing when. Oh wait, we can't say this online. All right, bye everybody.
Why not?
Wait, are we still live?
Yeah, we are
No,
live.
no, we're not.
Yes, we
Are
are.
we?
Do you see?
Yeah,
Do you
we
see
are.
the live symbol
Yeah,
up?
we're still live.
Oh, I thought you stopped it. That's why I was like, that's a good ending.
It came back on.
Why
Yeah,
you
we
do
came
that?
back on. Huh?
Why'd you do that?
Yeah.
Why you do that?
Because I wanted to fuss with Sydney a little bit. Ellie, I forgot you were here,
He
sweetie.
always wants to fuss.
I'm glad I didn't say nothing too
Quiet.
crazy. I'm thinking,
Never mind. I don't want
you
three
know
women
what?
mad at me
Yeah,
tonight.
good night, everybody. That was the show.